Hello, it's me again. It's been quite a wild few days in the world of sports. In fact, every day I've been going to tsn.ca and every single homepage has been a wow factor of large proportions because of the amount of trades and signings going on in the league. So where to start? I guess I'm going to start with the NBA because I happened to go to the Raptors Heat game when Bosch did his return. So what was that game like? Well, every time he touched the ball, he got booed. Did I boo? I did not boo at all. I didn't cheer. He's on the opposing team, but I can respect him. He is possibly the best player in franchise history. He tried in Toronto. He did all he could. But the Raptors are just a terrible organization. They're not going to win a championship. They aren't going to win one in 5 years. They wouldn't have won one with him there. So the only reason he would probably stay in Toronto, there really was no reason unless he had family settled there. I mean, face of the franchise, but it's not such a big deal anymore to be the face of the franchise. So, you can't blame the guy for wanting to win because athletes want to win. You can't hold the guy back. So as for the game, he got booed every time he touched the ball, which I think is just because it's Toronto. Because Toronto's just tired of all their franchise players moving. Holiday, Sundin was no different. Delgado, I guess Cabriolet today, which I'll get to. Um, Carter, obviously. So it's just we're getting tired of it. Tired of our team sucking. We want a playoff team, and it's just very frustrating to be a Toronto fan in such a huge market. It's kind of. I wish I was in Boston. I wish I lived in Boston, just where every team is amazing. Anyway, so the game itself was a great game. Um, Heat are a good-looking team. I guess only Boston was probably good. I mean, Boston's probably the favorite. I still think to win the conference because they have the depth, and I mean, I'm sure after 2 years after the Heat are settled, they're going to be unstoppable anyway. And if they're unstoppable now, then oh my goodness, that's just unbelievable. So that's Chris Bosh. He loves Toronto, and you can see that the city means a lot to him, and I respect a guy like that. I guess I was not so happy with all the tweeting. Who actually uses Twitter anyway? Anyway, to the world of hockey, where today, and I guess over the last few days, the Leafs have made trades. So I'm going to say good, bad, or even trade. Trading Francois Beauchemin. Good trade. Because Beauchemin, I have to say, was terrible. If you ever watched the Leafs game, he had so many turnovers that turned into goals. It was just ridiculous. And we got Lupul, who well, we needed forwards anyway, and he can always light up. But I think the main point was getting rid of Boschman. Keith Ollie can always take his role, so I think we're fine there. And then getting rid of Christopher Stieg. I didn't want to get rid of Christopher Stieg, but he's the kind of player where if you put him on a good team, he'll do great things. But if you put him on a bad team, he's kind of neutral. Kind of happened with Chicago. He's like a Maxime Talbot kind of guy, where in the big game he can score the goals, like the Stanley Cup winning goal. So he's a perfect fit for Philly with all their wingers and snipers, and I'm sure Philly's gonna have a deep run. Imagine if Philly knocks out Pittsburgh. Oh, that would taste amazing as the Philly fans. Okay, and then today, not getting rid of, but trading Thomas Cabriolet, the longest serving league for 12 years, second highest point scoring defenseman in the team's history. It's sad to see him go, but we got some good, we got first round pick from Boston. We got the conditional pick, and we got Culture, the young 21-year-old in the AHL. And so the Leafs now have kind of a lot of stock. They have well, in the last week, they've accumulated 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, a conditional pick, and 2 young, well, no, Lupul's not too young, but 2 good forwards. So Brent Burke even said today that his goal is not to get draft picks, but to accumulate draft picks and trade him for a 21, 22-year-old player, someone who's already kind of developed a bit. You know that they're reliable and can be a great player going down the road. So he's looking for like a Dustin Penner, a Brad Richards, but that's not going to happen because Dallas is doing well. The Dustin Penner is possible. Keep that in mind. So I guess that's the right way to go, but I don't know how much he's willing to give up for a Dustin Penner. I don't know if Dustin Penner is worth 2 first-round draft picks. Probably not. Probably like worth a Caberlet versus a Caberlet and a conditional pick kind of worth. Anyway, so I'm liking the moves, but then again, I'm still waiting for them to make the playoffs. And Burke had this good analogy where it's like making a baby. How the 9 months to make a baby is just boring and terrible and painful, but once it's born, fun times. And the difference between a baby in the womb and the Leafs is at least the embryo has life. No, I'm kidding. Because the Leafs are only 2 games below 500, and I know, yeah, get the parade float ready. Yeah, I suppose the only thing left to do this season is get rid of everyone. The Kessel deal, yeah, we know. So, Boston's taking all Toronto's players. Hopefully, Toronto will start evening out that equilibrium, I guess. Okay, next, baseball. So, the Jays re-signed Jose Bautista, which is a great move. It's, 5 years, $64 million contract. It's quite a lot, but if a guy hits 50 home runs, it's good. 54 home runs, my bad. It's very good, and you have to kind of invest in one player. And Jose Bautista is a reliable guy. He's got great work ethic, great attitude towards the game. He can play third and he can play outfield, so it's a great. I mean, if you're willing to give Vernon Wells $126 million, then this is. I mean, it shouldn't come to that. But this is a good deal. I mean, you don't want him to go to Boston. You don't want to see him hit him over the Green Monster. Anyway. It's a good deal. I don't know if he's the face of the franchise. I guess he would have to be because he's the most expensive player. But I'm sure if Aaron Hill or Adam Lind had rebound seasons in the upcoming season, they'd be back in the scope. In soccer news, my Chelsea is struggling even with Fernando Torres. We're facing Everton tomorrow. We're in a bit of a rut. Mostly because we're just having trouble finishing. And, I mean, it's going to take a while for Torres to get in the system. I don't actually know the formation. Has Anelka dropped back and is Drogba with Torres? I'm not quite sure. However, I know Champions League round of 16 Chelsea's match against Shakhtar, is it? Is coming up, and we better get at least to the round of 8. I'm sure we can get to the round of 4 because we have an easy pathway until we face Barca or Real Madrid, I forget. Either way, we should get to the round of 4, the final 4. I wouldn't say our season has lost necessarily in terms of the EPL, but Man U is only lost once. And Rooney had that pretty nice goal, I must admit. It was a very nice goal. Yeah. Okay, let's see, what else can we talk about? I guess that's all. Except, wait. Just giving you my opinion on everything. I suppose that's everything. Oh, well, I guess let's look at this. Quickly, today, a year ago, the Winter Olympics were happening, and a lot has changed, I guess, in the spirit of amateur athletes, and just can't wait to relive the Sidney Crosby goal. That'll be fun. Milos Raonic, that tennis player, the Canadian tennis player, doing well. Keep going up the leaderboards, and soon you'll be the best Canadian ever. Not like there's a lot of Canadian tennis player competition. Alright, see you later. It is my reading week. I'm going to Florida, but there's no hockey games, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'll just have to stay in the sun and relax. Aww.